History and Legend of Mount Bromo. Mount Bromo, which is believed to be a sacred mountain, has a history and legend that began when a king from the Majapahit kingdom and his followers fled their country due to attacks from various regions, until finally they were separated into two parts, some of which headed to the island of Bali and partly towards the slopes of Mount Bromo. Until now, these two places have in common that they both adhere to Hindu religious beliefs. The king of Majapahit then built a hamlet on the slopes of Mount Bromo with his loyal followers. In his new residence, the wife of the king of Majapahit gave birth to a baby girl. The baby she wanted was finally born into the world during a pitch-black night. But unlike most other babies, the baby girl didn't cry and looked so calm. In the end, the happy husband and wife named their baby Roro Anteng, which means a quiet and calm woman. In another place, at a hermitage not far from Roro Anteng's house, the wife of a Brahmin or priest also gave birth to a baby boy who cried very loudly and broke the silence of the night in Bromo. The baby looked healthy and fit, and his parents then gave him the name Joko Siga, which means a man who has a strong and healthy body. Over time, Joko Siga grew into a handsome and dashing young man, while Roro Anteng grew into a beautiful girl. Roro Anteng's beauty spread to all corners and became the idol of many youths. Lots of young men came to propose to Roro Anteng, however, none of them were accepted. Apparently, the beautiful princess was in love with Joko Siga.
One day, Roro Anteng's beauty reached the ears of a powerful and cruel hermit in the form of a giant who lived in the forest around the slopes of Bromo named Kiai Bima. When he heard this, Kiai Bima immediately came to propose to Roro Anteng and threatened that if his application was rejected, he would destroy the hamlet and all its contents. Because she was worried about Kiai Bima's threat, Roro Anteng finally found a way to politely refuse the proposal, namely by submitting conditions to Kiai Bima, namely to make a lake on top of Mount Bromo, and it had to be finished overnight before sunrise. The giant magic mandraguna agreed while laughing out loud, because Roro Anteng's request was so easy for him. Finally, without lingering any longer, he immediately started working on it. Roro Anteng was very afraid that this condition would succeed. In the end, he intended to fulfill it by inviting the men in his village to burn straw on the eastern horizon, so that the roosters would soon crow and the women would be ordered to pound rice in a mortar. Kiai Bima was very upset to hear the rooster crowing and felt he had failed to meet the requirements to marry Roro Anteng. Then the coconut shell that he used to make a lake on the mountain was simply thrown to the ground and it became Mount Batak.
After the problem with Kiai Bima was over, Roro Anteng married Joko Siga, and they lived happily and peacefully on the slopes of Mount Bromo. Based on history, the name of the Tengger tribe comes from the initial syllables of the two couples' names, namely Anteng Teng and Sigajo, which are then merged to become Tengger. After many years, the husband and wife had not been blessed with offspring. Then they both decided to meditate on Mount Bromo in the hope that Saint Hyang Widi would soon be given offspring. They also vowed to sacrifice their last offspring into the Bromo crater.
Finally, as time went on, the husband and wife were blessed with 25 children, and their last son was named Joko Kusuma, who was handsome, firm, and brave. One night, Joko Siga dreamed of being reprimanded by the god for keeping his promise to sacrifice his youngest son as an offering in the Bromo crater. Otherwise, the gods would bring disaster and havoc. Then Joko Siga told the dream to Jaka Kusuma. Then wisely, the son was willing to sacrifice himself for the safety of his family and citizens. During the full moon on the 14th of the Kasada month, Jaka Kusuma threw himself into the Bromo crater while saying, "Give me the produce of the fields every 14th of the Kasada month." Thank you and see you again.